Hello, my name is Holly, and this is my persuasive speech. I want to start off by introducing you guys to Miss Zoe here. So Miss Zoe is a 5-year-old spayed female Bichon Frise Maltese mix. She's not mine, I wish she was. Prior to her, her owners had another Bichon Frise Maltese mix that they had to euthanize at only 2.5 years old due to a pyometra. My topic is whether or not to spay and neuter your pets and when I believe you should get it done. My speech objective is to hopefully convince you guys to spay and neuter all your pets and to do it by the time they reach a year old. Here is an image I'm going to attach of a pyometra. So that pyometra was from a cat, and it most likely weighed more than a cat. So pyo stands for pus and metra stands for uterus, so it's buildup of pus in the uterus, and it's considered a secondary infection that is caused by hormonal changes in the female reproductive system. Both female cats and dogs that are intact are susceptible, and it usually occurs about 2 to 8 weeks after an estrus. Fever, anorexia, and depression are common signs, but sometimes owners don't always recognize those signs. They just think their animal's feeling a little unwell. They're not really aware that they have a pyometra until it's typically pretty bad. Typically, owners notice it when the infection is so bad that the pus has leaked out of the cervix and out of the vulva. Everyone I've seen was pretty large, and there's 2 treatments. You can either remove the uterus, which is what most people do, or prostaglandin therapy, which is what some owners do when they want to keep that female for breeding purposes. However, the prostaglandin therapy has a very low success rate and some bad side effects. If you choose surgery, then it must be done fast and carefully. Due to the uterus being so full with pus, the expansion of the uterus can cause it very easily to rupture, and then all that pus will go all over the abdomen, and you can have a very severe and deadly infection. Even seemingly healthy dogs and cats can get it. The last one I witnessed was a 2-year-old whole healthy golden retriever that the owners were trying to breed. Now here is an image of testicular cancer. So one of those testicles was enlarged due to the cancer, and one of them was atrophied. Testicular cancer is another major disease that can result when someone does not neuter their dog. The percentage of testicular cancer cases is low, but that's because most male dogs are neutered, so it's hard to get a good percentage rate. And it's much more common for older dogs to get, and an estimated 90% of all reproductive cancers in dogs is testicular. So that means 90% of reproductive diseases in dogs can be prevented easily through neutering. And around 30% of intact male dogs will get cancer in their testicles. And some signs include some hair loss around the scrotum, some enlargement of the scrotum, change in coloration, and sometimes even blood in the urine. When caught early, it's pretty easily treatable, but like all cancers, there's the possibility that it'll metastasize. Now here is an image of a mammary tumor. So that was an image of a mammary tumor that was ulcerated. Both intact dogs and cats can get mammary tumors. And like all tumors, there is a possibility for metastasis. And a really interesting fact is that cats spayed before 6 months of age are 7 times less likely to get mammary tumors. And when a cat gets a mammary tumor, the prognosis is much worse than in dogs. Sometimes even chemotherapy is required after the removal of mammary glands, and I've witnessed patients that have undergone chemotherapy, and it's not pleasant for patients or owners. Luckily, mammary masses are easy to notice. Usually owners detect them when they're doing belly rubs and they feel a little lump. But like that image showed, they can not have lumps, they can just get really dry, red, ulcerated skin. So that's why I feel like it's important to spay cats young to help greatly decrease the risk of mammary tumors. And finally, behavioral issues can result from deciding not to neuter dogs. Aggression is the most common reason owners say they want to neuter, and then marking is the second most common reason. From my experience as a veterinary technician, I see a large amount of aggression in intact males, as well as males who were neutered late. A lot of times, dogs that are neutered late still have that mindset of when they were intact, they'll still have that residual aggression. And intact males smell different. So even nice, intact, healthy labs will have other dogs not be so nice to them because they can smell that those males smell different. So they'll be rude towards them and aggressive and sometimes avoid them because they can smell the difference even though we can't. And the longer one waits to neuter, the more likely the aggression will result. I see a lot of intact male dogs or males that were neutered late that we have to put directly in the exam room because they cannot be in the reception. And a lot of times owners will call us and tell them that their dog is there and ask us, is there anybody in the waiting room and is there a room available for us to go directly into? And then marking is also very common. And it's hard to treat. After, usually marking starts to get really worse around 2 years old. And then that's when owners start to get frustrated enough to say, oh, I want to neuter. But by then, sometimes the neutering doesn't fix the marking because they already have it behaviorally set in their mindset to mark. They still know that, oh, mark this, mark that, because that's what the testosterone in them taught them to do. And it's sad because that is why I see most dogs giving up is due to the aggression and marking, which are both easily preventable through neutering. In conclusion, I feel pet owners should spay and neuter all their dogs and cats by the time they reach 1 year old, and even sooner if you could spay a cat by 6 months old to prevent the mammary tumors, that'd be amazing. And I also feel that people should not purchase puppies or kittens unless they have money to spay or neuter it. A great option would be to go through a rescue because rescues tend to be cheap and most of the animals are already spayed or neutered by the time you adopt them. And spaying and neutering does not take away one's manhood or womanhood. It creates a longer, healthier life. I most often see men are the ones who refuse to neuter their dogs because they're afraid of taking away the manhood. And if this is the case, there are little plastic inserts, kind of like ping pong balls, that you can put in the scrotum during the neuter so to give the impression that the dog is still intact. And my last thing I wanted to say is I want you guys to think about how you would feel if your dog or cat died due to your fear of taking away their man or womanhood, or due to your lack of ability to provide proper health care.